Hi, my name's Tom, and I wanted to start kind of a series of videos talking about different things, trying to be a little humorous. But one of the things I really wanted to focus on was something that affects me and a lot of people in my family, and that's panic attacks, anxiety, uh, those type of things. Uh, and I thought, of course, what better place to do this than in the parking lot of a Target. Uh, but one of the things I wanted to do first was maybe come out with some definitions and boundaries of exactly what we're talking about with a panic attack. I'll get more into what anxiety is, and how that affects me or other people a little bit later, what the differences are. Uh, but a panic attack it's best to kind of describe that through examples to people. Uh, like a lot of times people feel like they know what a panic attack is. If you've ever had one, you do know what a panic attack is. If you haven't had one, unless somebody's really explained in detail, you probably do not know what a panic attack feels like. And you might think it's just being, really anxious about something. Uh, when somebody has a panic attack and they say, "Hey, I had a panic attack. It was really terrible." If you say to them, "I know how you feel," you probably have not had a panic attack before. If somebody on the other way around, if somebody says to you, "Oh, I woke up today. I found out I was late to work. I was having such a panic attack. I rushed as fast as I could, and then I just realized that the clocks had been set back this weekend, and I was so relieved and everything was good." Well, that person talking to you did not just have a panic attack. A panic attack would be more, if you could think of if you're walking down the hallway and it's in the middle of the night and you're checking the locks in your house before you go to bed, and you check the front door, and when you check it, the door pops open and there's Michael Myers with a knife, swinging it at you, and whatever feeling you get kind of right, when you see Michael Myers in your face with a big sharp knife, that feeling is panic. And probably that panic would last a while if it were Michael Myers there in front of you. But when somebody's having a panic attack, or is the type of person that has panic attacks, that it's very close to that feeling when you have that sudden terror and it doesn't go away. It's kind of a suspension of that terror. Panic attack is a very, very hard thing to describe to somebody else that hasn't had one. When I have them, a lot of it, I'll feel, some of the anxiety building up, and some of the fear, the thoughts go through my head. I'll see the same cycles, and I'll kind of have little warning signs in my body. But when it really sets on, it's almost as if every single time I have a panic attack, a full-blown panic attack, it's like the first time of having it again. It's like you forgot everything that it felt like to have it. And that's why it's so hard to describe, because you can't even, outside of that panic attack, you can't really describe accurately what it is, in all its detail. I a lot of times I'll say that, there's a sudden fear, like falling down, a roller coaster, or some kind of just quick descent is the way my body feels. Like, just when I go from just being really anxious to where I know the panic attack has started, there's just a big kind of drop in my whole, it feels like it's in my chest. And it's kind of a mix between nausea and fear. And once it starts going, everything, like my entire muscles is tensed up. I am pacing around. I try and sit down. I'm not comfortable. I'm still afraid. I pace around. I'm still afraid. I go to this room. I go to that room. I go all over the place. I tried different things. These got these tapping things that calm you down. Tap on your head, and then you tap on your eyes, and you tap over here, and you tap over here. You just come up with all kind of things that you want to do to make this up. And the tapping, I'll go into that in another episode, I guess. That's something I saw on the internet that tends to help somewhat with the anxiety. It's not a cure, but it can help you subside some of that. But what happens in the panic attack itself is not just the physical sensation, the rush of fear that won't go away. It's all these thoughts are real, and in my head, I'm waiting for my heart to explode. I'm waiting for some kind of great pain to happen, and it never comes, but it feels like it's always just around the corner. My heart's racing. I don't feel safe being confined, but I really don't feel safe in any way, shape, or form, to be honest. There was one time I was having a panic attack because I got something in my eye. Well, I didn't have the panic attack because I got something in my eye, but I had something in my eye from when I was weed eating the lawn, and a piece of grass popped up in my eye, and I just didn't pay much attention, kind of pulled it out, and it was kind of itchy. And then later on that night, my eye was really scratchy, and I kept looking at it different ways, and I thought my cornea got shredded or something, and I was going to go blind or something weird like that. That probably is closer to anxiety. But once I decided that, I should have gone to the hospital earlier, and I got to go get this checked out, then I got my wife to start driving me to the hospital, and because something was wrong with my eye, I might go blind. I don't want to be driving myself. But then I started getting panicked that it was too late. And, I guess the thoughts was I was stupid, or I should have done this before. But once that panic started setting in, I started panicking that I wouldn't be able to get to the hospital. And then, I was not worried about my eye anymore. I was worried about my heart exploding. And we didn't even make it out of our neighborhood. Like, sometimes when, she's driving me and I'm having a panic attack, I have her pull over 15 feet apart. And I'll just try and calm down a little bit. I'll drink my water, and then she'll try and say something, and it might register, it might not, and I'll have to get out and pace around. And here we were trying to go to the hospital to save my eye so I wouldn't go blind, and we didn't even make it out of the neighborhood. We're sitting there for 15-20 minutes. I'm waiting for some of my medicine to kick in, and so that we could drive to the hospital. I was sitting there waiting to be well enough in my car to drive to the hospital, if that makes any sense to anybody. But I just completely gave up on going to the hospital, and I said, I got to go home. And then we turned around, and we just barely turned around on the road. We were maybe 5 feet away from where we were before, and I had to, it came back to me, and I had to get around and pace more, and my wife's just sitting there and just worried and watching me. And thank God I have such a wonderful wife that, she deals with this stuff, and she's seen me go through it before. For me, a lot of the things that kind of ease some of the tension is cold water. It just kind of helps me take my mind off of it. That's like my security blanket. And a lot of pacing, and then some kind of repetitive motion, tapping. I might be tapping on my chest. That's not necessarily the best thing to do. but just, rhythmic tapping, something to kind of focus your body to ground it. Uh, but in this case, we're sitting there trying to get home, and I mean, I'm seriously like, home is like a 5-minute walk away. And she drives, and I'll be, okay, slow down. And then we drive, and we just kind of make the turn onto the road that we live on. And then I said, okay, I'm going to get out. I said, I'm just going to walk. You just follow me and stand behind. And if I want to get back in the car, I will. If not, just watch me in case I fall down and die. And, I'm not kidding when I say watch me in case I fall down and die. Because most of the time, like when I grab my wife when I'm having a panic attack or I wake her up or something, it's because I want her to talk to her before I die and, tell her I love her, and then relay to the rest of my relatives so that they know I love them in case my heart explodes or stops or whatever. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I mean, it's a very real feeling, and I sometimes make it sound silly here. And I mean, I wish there was a way that I can convey to other people that haven't experienced this what it's like, but I stand firmly on the ground that I would never hope that somebody understands this through experience. But that's about all I'm going to cover today. I'm going to go do my shopping and make some more videos later. Thank you.